You're right, we can see it.
Do you want to take roll or not?
Do we have a quorum?
We do. Yep, we have a quorum.
All right. Majority council, call the roll.
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Demalowitz.
Here.
Miller.
Present.
Epicoro.
Yeah.
Kuhn. Reedy.
Here.
Robinson. Petto. Collins. And Drake.
Excellent.
We have a
Thank you.
quorum.
Motion to approve previous minutes.
Make the motion.
Second.
Justin, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. What we have here tonight is a discussion regarding the Waterway Canal Project. Kevin, you want to introduce everybody?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. As you know, my name is Kevin O'Connor. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the Advanced Albany County Alliance. And with me today, we have two of the fiercest advocates for waterfront development. That's in addition to saying they're some of the oldest advocates for waterfront development. Len Tantillo, a noted local artist, has been a proponent of waterfront development in this city for, I think, going on 30 years. BJ is a little new to the party, only been at this for probably about 10 or so. But you know what, the concept that they're going to talk to you a little bit about tonight represents opening up our waterfront in Albany County to greater access to our citizens and to economic development potential. When you look at the waterfront from Starbuck Island down to the Port of Albany, it is almost void of any waterfront development. Very unusual, particularly on as meaningful and picturesque a waterfront as the Hudson River. So with that, I'll turn it over to BJ Costello and Len Tantillo for their remarks.
Thank you, Kevin.
Just have
BJ, I
questions
just
for
want to
the
say,
chair.
thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm doing this because I am so excited you guys are here. And also to note that Albany County paid for this report that came out of the Alliance that, that these gentlemen are going to walk through. You're in for a treat. This is really exciting stuff. And Pat Fahey is really just bonkers over this. Huge economic development opportunities. So glad you're here. I'm sorry it's so late, but we're excited.
It's okay. We're old. I mean, this is not late yet. We stayed up past 7 o'clock. We're doing well. So my name is BJ Costello. I'm a lawyer across the street. I've been here in downtown Albany since 1969. I've seen the changes that have happened here. I own a building over there. I practice law over there. And I live in the city of Albany. I think I'm one of your constituents. I'm up on Raffs Pond.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm one of your constituents. I chair the not-for-profit called the Albany Waterway, Inc. And that's formed by a group of citizens who love Albany. Nobody's being paid. It's a group of people who are very interested in making Albany change. We work in downtown. We own property in downtown. We live in the city. Our vision is to bring water into Albany. Why is that? Because we want to revitalize the city. We want to create jobs. We want to increase tourism. In one of my lives, I chair the USS Slater. We have 20,000 people come from around the world to the Slater every year. And they ask, I'm embarrassed when I'm talking with them, and they say, where can we walk to get a cup of coffee? And I look at them like, and they say, isn't this the capital city of the Empire State? And I say, it is. So we want to increase tourism. We want to increase the amenities for residents. We want to create a safe place. We want to create public-private partnerships that will yield restaurants, affordable housing, retail, and safe, exciting, impactful spaces. We have gained over 1,100 friends who have joined this crusade since we started 2 years ago. And Lynn's going to lay this vision out, but I'd just like to tell you to think about it. We know we're going to succeed because we have studied, and we have studies, that show what happened in Buffalo's Canal Side, where it's completely transformed downtown Buffalo. Syracuse Clinton Square. It was a square downtown. It was a parking lot that was full of crime, drugs, etc., completely transformed. Schenectady. You've been to Schenectady? Why do people leave Albany to go to Schenectady to eat or enjoy themselves? It's a question that we just sort of shake our heads at. Providence. I don't know if you've been to Providence, but Providence is something called Waterfire. It's a tremendous tourist attraction. It's brought a lot of money into the city. San Antonio, you're probably familiar with that. Oklahoma City, Lynn talked a little bit about that. So all these studies show that when you put investment of public money into water in an urban setting, the return on the investment at a minimum is $12 for every dollar you put in. $12 for every dollar you put in. And so that's a really important thing. With the money that fortunately we were given by the Alliance, we were given $85,000. We hired Clough Harbor. The question was, is it feasible to do this? We hired Clough Harbor engineers to come in and tell us it was. We hired Hartkin. Hartkin is you've probably heard of, they're archaeologists. They do all the archaeology work in downtown Albany. We hired them. They said this is very possible. We hired an architect to come in and take a look, and they came back the same way. So and we've obtained studies from SUNY Poly, a professor named Andrew Wolf, who looked at all this. So what we've concluded is that this is feasible. DOT did a study, Pat Fahey got money for them to look at 787, and they included Lock 1. And what they set up in historic Lock 1, did everybody here learn in the 4th grade the song, I've Got a Mule, her name is Sal?
15 miles on
There we go. And in that song it says that the canal starts in Albany and goes to Buffalo. Well, nobody would know it started in Albany. Everybody thinks it starts up in Waterford. But it doesn't. It started here. And it's buried up near Modern Press and up near the building you're taking down.
Central Warehouse, right in front of.
So DOT said you can do this in stages. When people say how much will this cost, it really depends upon what you do. We think it's really important that you start the process. And you can start it under the DOT plan pretty minimally and then build it up. And once people, I think, see it started, then there's going to be an energy that will happen, there'll be development that will happen. The warehouse district is right next door to Lock 1, and we think if you can put affordable housing up there, you can put a lot of other development up there, that's just going to turn that whole area of the city. So that's where we are. Lynn Tantillo, who I was fortunate enough to meet a couple years ago, is a famous artist. You'll see some of his work here. I don't know if there's a way for you up in that end to turn around so you can see the screen.
There's a screen here
It's
too.
right above your head. We have it.
We got you covered.
Okay, Lynn?
Take it away. I'm going to ask that you hold off your questions until I get to the end of the presentation because there's a lot of slides and I want to move through them quickly. I know you've been here for a while.
We're all for that.
Okay. So this is a painting that was done by the Dutch in the 1630s of where Albany is right now. That's a detail of it. This is a painting that I made based on that map. This painting was commissioned by the governor and given to the royal family in the Netherlands. This is Albany in 1650. This is a map drawn of Albany in the 1690s. That's a drawing that I made of what Albany looked like in the 1690s. Albany in the 1740s. This is the painting that I made of Albany at that time, looking from the Rensselaer side. This is Albany again. This is now in the 1790s. This is a painting that I made of Albany at that time. And this is the 1860s, and this is a painting that I made of Albany at that time. For the last 40 years, I've been working on historical paintings of Albany. A lot of them are based on these maps. And the one thing that always struck me is that arc of water line, that shoreline of Albany. The river was twice as wide as it is today through most of its 400 years of history. It's only in recent times that it's been filled in. And so that was kind of always on my mind. Up until the 1990s, I've been collecting all kinds of proposals for downtown Albany. Some of them were implemented, some of them were not. But none of them really had any transformative effect on the city. Yes, there were benches and trees planted and things like that, but none of them really changed the city. And I thought, they're trying so hard to try to bring the city out to the Hudson River, when at one time the Hudson River was in the city. So what would happen if we brought the river back into the city? So that was 30 years ago. I started making some sketches talking about a canal that would come in by Central Warehouse and exit over by the SUNY Plaza building. And eventually it caught on, it got some attention, it made the newspapers. Governor Pataki liked it, went on television and talked about it. Jennings was the mayor then, he liked it. He gave me some money. I hired some friends of mine. Pat Mahoney was Albany's civil engineer. Bruce Heiser was Albany's landscape architect. And Tiag Begarian was an urban planner for Albany. So we put together this booklet. And in the booklet, we produced this map of what could happen. It shows at the left side of that painting, that map, you can see where the water would come in under the highway. We had made a point of not changing the highway at all, not interrupting one ramp, not changing it, not changing the flow of traffic at all. And we made a point in the beginning not to tear a single building down. Now, Albany over the last 30 years has changed, so some of this has filled in. But for the most part, most of this is still possible. So there's a way to break it down. I mean, the ultimate would be to build the whole system, build the canal all the way through the city. But you could break it down, you could just do parts of it. You could do, as for an option, you could just do the area around the SUNY Plaza building. As another option, you could focus on the area around Central Warehouse. So thanks to the county, we were given the opportunity to look a lot deeper in this. We were given enough money to do a feasibility study and a cost analysis for these projects. So that's what you're going to see tonight. So this is what the Albany Lumber District looked like. This is all the way on the left side of that map. About a third of the way up is where the Central Warehouse building is today. A Huck Finn warehouse and all those other things took place all along that long stretch of Erie Canal. And you see all those feeders off the canal that are coming down. They are all lumber yards. This was the Albany Lumber District at the time. And if you look at it closely, you can see Lock 1. I'm not even sure if I can point at it, but it's sort of, it's that odd-looking sort of shape where the boats would come through from the Hudson River and go into the canal basin where they would await processing. And the process that was involved was that they passed through a weigh lock. It was a building that actually weighed these vessels empty and then weighed them again when they were loaded to determine how much they would be paying in tolls. This is what Lock 1 looked like in Albany. And what we found out about 20 years ago is that the whole thing was buried. It's probably all there under the street and under the parking lot. So this is the area. You can see Central Warehouse there. You see Trefoletti's. You see the Hudson River. You see the boat launch. This is a digital model kind of looking from the other direction with the Hudson River at the top of the picture. Step 1 is Central Warehouse comes down. Step 2 is some kind of resolution of Modern Press because one part of that building is sitting on top of the canal. And with Modern Press out of the way, you could then take that area, you could put the lock back, and you could bring the boat basin back, and you could also restore the Waylock building, which was this beautiful historical building that was that feature of that site. It was a Greek Revival building. These are architectural drawings. We know what it looked like, we know where the foundation was, and what we're hoping to do is recreate that building on its original foundation. This is an architect's sketch of what that site could look like with hotels, apartments, commerce, and even an arena where plays and things could be conducted where you would be looking out over the boat basin. This is a different angle. The Hudson River here is on the bottom of that sketch. You can see Lock 1 on the left kind of leading into the boat basin area. This is what the Waylock looked like, and this is what we're hoping can be built as a replica, even to the point where it could be a working replica, where kids could go there and see how this building actually worked to weigh boats. So here's the site. This is the part that we've been asked over and over and over again for the last 30 years. How much would it cost and is it possible to build? So with the money that we got from the county, we engaged Clough Harbor. They came up with this plan that was buildable, that restores the lock and restores the boat basin. And what they determined was that to connect it to the Hudson River was $57 million. To build the boat basin itself was $67 million. And because of contingencies they weren't really nailed down, they put in a huge contingency amount of $90 million. So this feature could be built for $211 million approximately. So, and these are the properties that are involved. The Trefoletti built property is the blue-green color. The orange is a parking lot, and the yellow is the Modern Press printing shop. SUNY Plaza, this is the other end of the system. This is where the river, it's interesting to really look at a little bit of the past of this site. So there's the D&H building, the SUNY headquarters building. That area that you see circled, that was once Albany's harbor. That's where the marina was. That's where all the activity that took place on the river occurred. And on that site was the Albany Yacht Club. The Albany Yacht Club was this beautiful building on this pier that was called Recreation Pier. And this is the kind of crowds that it attracted. There were boat races in the Hudson. There were thousands of people there that used that site. So on the left side of that photograph is the Hudson River. On the right side of that photograph is Albany's harbor. Gone. This is what Albany's harbor once looked like. This is how you got there from the land side. You crossed these bridges and went out to that pier. This is what the pier looked like. They called it Recreation Pier. It had pavilions on it for the public to use, and it was well used. You can see how elaborately built it was. It has these wonderful granite steps and entrances. So here it is on the right-hand side in its heyday. On the left-hand side, it's the era when it's determined to tear this thing apart and get rid of it and destroy it. So here it is in its heyday, Albany's harbor, and this is what was done to it. It was filled in, the bridges were all taken away, the yacht club was taken down, the pier was destroyed, and in its place was the highway. So these two photographs are of exactly the same place, and you can see that the highway goes right over Albany's harbor. And if you look closely in that area where the yacht club was and the recreation pier was, to this day, the corner of the recreation pier is still there, but that's all that's left of it. There's a pumping station there now. So we had a harbor, Albany had a harbor. What we're proposing is an inner harbor for the city of approximately the same size on the inside of the D&H building instead of on the outside of the building, where that building almost seems to embrace that site. It seems to really just want to be used in that way. So this is how it would be transformed according to Clough Harbor's efforts in determining its feasibility. This is what Broadway looks like now. If it was altered in the design that Clough Harbor was proposing, there'd still be traffic access on Broadway, but there would be a marina on the other side. So we would have, in this view, you have your back to the SUNY headquarters building, and you're looking out across the harbor at downtown Albany. This is what it would look like if you were a boater. This is what it would look like if you were visiting Albany. We found that the north end of that system had to be quite shallow. That water can only be about 18 inches deep. So it could function as a display place for fountains, and then the deeper water would be on the other side of it. So here you have what could happen at the site of the old D&H building as opposed to what's there right now. It would be an incredible transformation for the city. A major asset. Thanks. So, feasibility and cost. Could you build it? How much would it cost? Okay, so Clough Harbor again determined that we could bring the water in from the Hudson River into a lock for $55 million, that the marina itself could be built for $42 million, and with a contingency of $54 million, it would bring the total for that project to $151 million. Okay, so this is only to give you an idea of relationships of expense. If you did both of those projects, if you built the north end by Central Warehouse and the south end near SUNY Plaza, it would be a total of $362 million. The cost for replacing the Livingston Avenue Bridge is $635 million. It's under construction right now. It was needed, but just to give you an idea, the Livingston Avenue Bridge, although it's important in terms of transportation, would never generate the kind of money that $362 million investment would be in terms of transforming the city itself. Okay, so the success of contemporary canals. This is something that BJ brought up before. Oklahoma City has a 1-mile canal. It comes in from the Oklahoma River. It spans from the river right into the downtown area. It's called the Bricktown Canal. It's been a big success, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. This is what it looks like. This is the Bricktown Canal in Oklahoma City. Providence, Rhode Island, you probably all heard of that. Providence has an amazing canal system. I went to school right there in those buildings in the back there. That's Rhode Island School of Design. And when I went there in 1964, they were filling it in. They were making it into a big parking lot. And I was shocked when they decided to rip up the parking lots and put the water back where it was. And that has been a decision that's transformed that city. Waterfire is a major event. Millions of people have gone to it. They love it. Ottawa, Canada, has had the Rideau Canal for a very, very long time. It's become a major part of the city. This is what the Rideau Canal looks like at Christmas time. This is how they use it in the winter. San Antonio, a lot of people have been to San Antonio. You know what the Riverwalk there has done for that city. It's become a more popular attraction than the Alamo. And Chicago has many canals, but probably this is the most significant one. It goes right through the middle of the city, the Ship Canal. Closer to home, Buffalo, that was mentioned earlier by BJ. This is their canal side project. This was not there before. They put this thing in, and this has become a major popular attraction for the city of Buffalo. Even closer to Albany, Syracuse decided that they wanted some kind of water feature in Clinton Square where it once was. The canal used to go right through the middle of Syracuse. So they put the harbor area of the Erie Canal back where it was. And so this is what Clinton Square looks like now. It gets used year-round. It's become a major attraction for Syracuse. So, closing thoughts. That is $1 million in $100 bills. That is $100 million. That's $360 million. That's approximately what would be needed to build those 2 projects of the waterway. That's $650 million. That's the cost of the Livingston Avenue Bridge. Now, people they keep comparing our project to the 787, remove the 787 highway. Our project is nothing like the 787 removal project. That project is estimated at the low end to be $2 billion. That's what $2 billion looks like compared to the waterway project. It's astonishing. We're not in the same ballpark as that kind of expenditure. Okay, so here's the Bricktown Canal again, Oklahoma City. 1-mile canal from the Oklahoma River into the middle of town. In 1999, they decided they were going to build this. They raised $24 million by raising their sales tax temporarily by 1 penny. And they put together the whole $24 million. 2 years ago, now this is 1999, 2 years ago, 2023, they conducted a survey to see what the impact of their 1-mile long canal was in terms of the economics of the area. This is an astonishing number. When you look at it, you can't believe it. This is annually. This isn't over a period of time. This is in 1 year. $1.4 billion. $1.4 billion for a $24 million investment. $1.4 billion. It made national news. It was in all the papers. It's generated millions of dollars in labor income. It's generated thousands of jobs. It's produced a burgeoning economy there of hotels, apartments, restaurants. And so here we are. There's our little development up at the Central Warehouse. There's our development at SUNY Plaza. Our 1-mile long canal would be the connection between those 2 elements. That would be comparable to what's going on in Oklahoma City. So with that, I'll leave you with a couple of more images. This is what Broadway looks like now. Think of an Albany where Broadway looked like that. What would that city be like? Would that be a city where you would want to go to visit? Would that be a city where you would want to go to live? Would that be a city where you would want to go and spend some time with your family and friends? So this is the painting I did 30 years ago. of what that waterway might be like in front of the D&H building, and that's where I'm going to end my program tonight. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. This has a lot to do with the city. So where is the city on all this?
Well, we have a lot of support right now from Dorsey, who is looking a lot like she's going to get elected next week. We have high hopes for that. BJ, why don't you take
Well, the
it?
city has been very positive on this from the beginning.
Any money coming from them?
Would what?
Any funds, any money,
I
any
don't
support? Capitalize Albany?
Yeah, I don't know if they would or not. I mean, we've talked to like 1,000 people. We've talked to a lot of groups in town. So we continue to ask, but we're all volunteers. We all have other jobs. So we're just a bunch of citizens saying to the public entities like you, here's the vision, we're serving it up, we know how it works, we know what it costs, and it can be done in stages, so you don't have to come up with all those big numbers that you saw there. It can be done in stages, and we'll just continue to do that. We know the governor's got money out there of $200 million, whether we get any of that or not, and when I say we, it would have to go to some public entity, not us, because we're not developers and we don't own any land. But we have this vision that we hope someone picks up, a public entity picks up.
Would it have to be the city or the state? No one's gonna spend $300 million of their own money for a canal.
Well, I wouldn't think of that number. I would think if you can do this in stages. You can start out with $5 million, for example, and bring back lot 1. And then that will develop. What's going to happen then, what we've seen in other studies, is then private developers come in and say, boy, we want to be part of this. So if you think about that north end, the lot 1 piece, you'd have developers come in, they would buy up the property, they would build hotels, they would put in affordable housing, they would completely change the nature of that part of the city and the county today.
No question, it'd be a wonderful idea if it could happen.
Yeah.
But it's just so much relied on the city. All the permits, all the changes, all the zoning, everything with this project is with the city of Albany.
Well, we hope we're all one team, Susan.
The $362 million cost, is that the build cost, or does that include the property acquisition?
Built. So the property acquisition, it's public property on the SUNY piece, right? That's already public property. And on the other end, you really have 3 critical pieces. You have Modern Press, and then you have the 2 pieces just north of that. So what that total would come to, but it would not be much.
Mr. Drake?
Thanks for that
Oh,
presentation.
you liked it?
Yeah.
Good.
That's great. One thing I might have missed, at the end, you connected the canal. That's sort of phase 3. Was there a cost estimate for that?
No. We've had a difficult enough time just to get these 2 end projects going. We figured that if they ever happened, it would become pretty obvious what you would need to do next. But one of the cool things that's happening, when you talk about expense and you talk about getting this project going and what will engage more people and get them more excited about this, we have a great group of people of volunteers who are working on this project. And two of the members of our group are archaeologists, and they're the 2 guys that originally dug up the canal 20 years ago, that discovered that it was there. They dug a hole that was that deep and they hit the top of the lock. And that was on the property of Modern Press. I'm going to try to describe this. Maybe I could find the slide to show you if you can't quite picture where this is. But you know where the boat launch is, and you know that big parking area that goes under the highway. The highway goes right over the top of it. Then there's a road there called Water Street. And on the other side of Water Street, that's where Modern Press is, that's where Central Warehouse is. Well, between Water Street and that parking lot is a strip of grass that's about 20 feet wide. The canal runs the lock runs right under that. Lock 1 of the Erie Canal runs right under that. So one of our archaeologists, they have students. One is at SUNY and the other one is at Union. They said, what if we get our archaeology students to go down there with some shovels and dig down? I said, how far down do you think the top of the lock is? He said, about 2 feet. So he said, I'll get some students down there. If we can get permits, we'll dig it up, and the public can come down and look at it while we're excavating it. He needed about $10,000, he said. We have enough left over in our coffers to be able to cover it. So BJ has been working for the last couple of weeks to get permits from DOT to do it, and it looks like we're on our way.
Yes.
So there'll be some kids down there in the spring digging a hole. The public can go down there and see what the lock looks like. And it's that kind of thing that I think starts to build some momentum. Something is going to have to happen at that site when Central Warehouse comes down. People are going to wonder, what is this about? Is it just a pot store? Is that all it's going to be? Is it, you go there and you can buy some marijuana? We're hoping for a lot more than that. So I don't know. I think we'll see. I believe that within 5 years or less, we'll see Lock 1 excavated. I'm hoping that at that same time, the idea continues to include the development of that boat basin and get the water in there from the Hudson River. But the beginning stages are going to be modest. The big stuff, I think the thing at SUNY Plaza that could happen the quickest would be to get a developer interested in buying from the state the D&H building and the property in front of it, with the contingency that they will develop the marina if the city will hook it up to the Hudson River. I think that kind of scenario could play out. So that's the way I see it. I don't know,
Yeah,
BJ,
no,
maybe you
you're
see
right.
it different than me?
You have another question, Ty?
Well, yeah, so I think that given the examples that you showed of other successful enterprises, most of them seem to include kind of a length of waterway. And you can go to Florida and see this all day long, how
Yeah.
communities are just, you know, right? I mean, this is not new.
No.
This is a fantastic concept, but that does involve probably an enormous amount of eminent domain and some other things. But I think, to be clear, it's a wonderful project, but I think it has to have that connection to transform the city, because it makes the entire city navigable, and it also brings about just a lot more real estate on the water, I guess, you know, waterfront real estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wonder if that's something that, you know, Clough Harbor really touched on at all, whether that
No,
was
we
even.
didn't go there. Because
Yeah.
I don't know what it would, you know, the interesting thing about the connection, and this is kind of fun when you consider Oklahoma City.
Can we keep it short?
Okay, well, I can just stop there.
Thank you. Ms. Epicuro?
Yes, great point, Todd. I think the ones you showed from the other cities, they do have more lengthy, construction and space. But I think this is overall a great idea. You sold me. But do we know if we can get private investors to do, something like this, and how can we bring the state into it so that we can get maybe some grants? I know Kadihoko is, giving a lot of money out, so we may be able to bite into some of that.
Mr. Epicor, I think the answer to both of those questions is yes. I have a high level of confidence that if this was built, even portions of it, small starting portions, it would attract significant private development for housing, hotels, perhaps even retail destination. And that last item is what our city sorely needs. It is a marquee destination.
Mm-hmm.
Albany has everything else but that, and this would provide that to the city of Albany.
I agree.
If any of you have taken a walk through the Mohawk Harbor site that the Galisi group built down, forget about the casino, just, if you go down to the residential side where there's marinas and a promenade walking way and a Druthers restaurant and housing all around it, which is completely full, you can envision what could happen in the city of Albany. Because it's a much more desirable investment location than the city of Schenectady. No offense to my friends in Schenectady, but it just is.
And one more question. If we were to go with this, what would be the first next step with this, after this?
I'm not sure I understand the.
So let's say we agree that this is something that we should do. What is the next step?
I think the obvious opportunity right now is Governor Hochul's $200 million cap initiative. If a portion of that could be made available for the start on either end of this canal, I think, you know, that seems to me to be the most plausible starting point.
Are they open to that, Ken?
I believe they are, Mr. Chairman. And BJ, you want to talk a
What's
little bit
that,
about
sorry?
that? You said, is the state amenable, open to the waterfront idea?
We'll see.
Mr. Davis?
Let me just say this, we've had, I'm not talking out of school, there's consultants that were hired by the governor. And they've been receiving comments from people about what would you like to see in the parking lot district and other places. And one of the proposals, as you probably know, is a soccer stadium. And they've gotten, I think, something like, this is top secret information, I think they got about 7 to 1 negative to positive comments about the soccer stadium. We have sent in dozens of positive, no negative, from these thousands of people we have, comments about what we've been talking about tonight. So we're trying very hard to do it. Part of the issue, to answer your question too, is acquiring the property. We don't own any land and we're not developers. We're just a bunch of people who have an idea. So I think one of the first steps is to acquire the property, and that would have to happen before any development actually occurred.
Justin?
Sure, just a few comments and one very quick question. Those paintings were beautiful.
Yeah, thanks.
Watching that canal being filled in, it makes you want to gnash your teeth and cry at the same time through the crime. I guess one thing I do want to be, like, I love this idea. I would want to make sure that this would be complementary or in sync with any reimagining of 787 that's happening. I guess the only question I have is, if we did do this, can you gentlemen promise that the canal would freeze over long enough for people to ice skate on it?
Yeah, thank you, God. Okay, so, I mean, the short answer to your first question is 787 would not impact, whatever they do to 787
Yeah.
would not impact any of this. We go right under it as we do today, and that would be it, so it's no issue.
Any other questions?
Well, just to follow up,
Go ahead.
wouldn't this conceptually, if this were able to go, almost eliminate the need to do something to 787? The whole purpose of doing that was to bring us closer to the river. If we go the other way, as Len said, and bring the river in, couldn't that not go, and then maybe the monies that look into that would go to this?
Yeah, that's sort of a political question, I don't know the answer.
We're politicians, we gotta answer.
Any other questions? Thank you. Motion adjourned.
Motion.
Second.
So you got the Indiana Jones